Hello, Aquarius. How's everybody doing? We are here with the timeless reading. Before we get started with the reading, let's set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with the highest good. Okay, I'm seeing something coming through for you. And you may feel like this took a very, very, very long time, like longer maybe than you would have preferred this take. Nonetheless, I'm seeing something arriving here. For some of you, this has to do with home or family or a living situation. Not for everybody, but I am seeing that detail for some. I feel like that Ten of Wands didn't want to come all the way out. Something may feel like a lot now, but I'm seeing that you're going to move through this. Like, you're definitely going to come out on top within this situation, but you could just feel like it's a lot and maybe you feel kind of like on your own. Maybe you're feeling a bit burnt out, like tired. Like, this Ten of Wands particularly, the way that the energy is coming through, I'm seeing someone like staying up late working is this sort of energy. Like maybe you just feel like there's so much to get done here. A lot to do, a lot to balance. Okay. Ten of Wands and Six of Pentacles. Like the way that I see these cards is Ten of Wands can be really biting off a lot and being like, I don't know if I can chew all of this. Like, is that actually possible? And Six of Pentacles is like, I'm just trying to get back what's like even. But if it's the Ten of Wands to the Six of Pentacles, which would be reciprocity, like if you're putting in a lot of work just to get what you feel like would be breaking even, like, is that maybe you're doing too much? Like, I don't think it should be that much. Because the way that I see it is like Six of Pentacles is like you put in 50% and you get back 50%. It's like fair's fair is the way that this comes through. But Ten of Wands is like you're putting in 75% and only getting back 50. So why are you putting in so much effort just to only like break even or barely break even? That's the question. You may be doing too much, you would find, because it shouldn't be this stressful to break even. In whatever situation this is, like some of you feel like you're going to your job, you're not being paid enough. For some of you, this is within a relationship. You feel like you're doing everything. Your partner's maybe just giving you like 10%. Anything. It's some sort of relationship where you feel like you're doing more and like not getting as much back. No matter where this is taking place within your life. That's your challenge right now. But it does seem like something that's soon to be over. I just get like such an exhausted energy here. Why are you so tired? Well, Ten of Wands, why you're so tired. It's maybe something that just feels endless to you at this point. You may be trying really hard to make something work that actually like doesn't work or is not working, because it shouldn't be that hard to make something work. But you may not be ready to see that yet. Like reciprocity, when it's in flow, you just move with the rhythm of things. You don't have to be doing all of this extra stuff. But right now, it's like a lot of extra stuff that I'm seeing you doing just to get like what you want in return. But you're not breaking even is the thing. Like that's what the issue is. Again, it's this like you're putting in 75% and only getting 50% back. But you're still like maybe that hasn't... Maybe you feel like you have to do that. Maybe you feel like you have to do that. Because, I mean, why else would you be doing this? But there may be an alternative that you're just not ready to see yet. Because Nine of Wands is like, I see Nine of Wands as like a karmic test or a challenge that we're going through. And it's because we're like, especially Nine of Wands, I see it as being like our personal karmic challenge, or like a loop that we're in that we need to master. And this may be something that you do repeatedly. This just happens to be the latest situation where you find yourself doing this, where you're putting in more effort and not getting enough of like reciprocity back from something. You may find this pattern repeated for you. Again, this is just like the latest situation that this pattern is showing up within, that you're recognizing it within. It looks like this has to do with your relationships. Maybe the people that you're closest to, or the things that you connect with most. But like, why do you have to try that hard for intimacy also? If it's in flow, you wouldn't have to. But if it's not in flow, then yes, this extra effort would be necessary. But that's only because you'd be fighting the flow of things. Like it's like trying to make these pieces fit that don't, so they don't snap together. So you got to hold it the whole time. It's like that. So you can make it work, but it's taking like much more effort because those pieces don't really go together. And you can hold them together, yes, but it's never going to be reciprocity. Like, it's not going to be flow the way that it would if it were pieces that just fit together, because you don't have to hold them together. They just stay together. They snap in place. But you may be trying to make something fit that doesn't snap in place. But again, you can hold it together if you want to, if you choose to, but know that that's a choice. And I don't know if you saw it as a choice before this point, but we're getting to this point where like that's being shown to you that that's a choice for you. And that when something does work, when there is just natural, like the Tao is reciprocity, you won't have to do that extra stuff. Like, you won't have to be in that 10 of Wands where it's like, when does this end? Like, is it ever gonna like add up to more than this? And it doesn't. You just are like barely breaking even, but not even, because you're already doing all of that extra stuff. All for the sake of something that I'm seeing your energy be so powerful that if you are like willing to make this work, even though it's not like completely in flow or not completely in alignment, you'll be able to. But just know that it's constantly and always in this situation gonna take that extra effort and work, because it's not a reciprocal situation. Like, it's not totally aligned, which I'm seeing you know that, but you could be in a spot where you're like, well, what do I do about that? Or I don't really want to see that, or like just this gulp that's happening. I'm seeing it just like feel stressful. Like, I feel kind of like the clock is ticking for you now for some reason. Like, Six of Pentacles and Eight of Swords is you looking at something and being like, no, it's like not really aligned. If I'm being honest with myself here, I am seeing that, but like, what can I do then? Eight of Swords can kind of be like feeling a bit frozen, being like, this is too hard. It's like, maybe you feel like the teacher gave you the hardest math problem to solve here and you're just not up for it. But I'm seeing you've been like using your energy for something else, trying to hold these pieces together that like don't really go. And that's why you're feeling so exhausted, because that's what you've been like, rather than just going with the flow and like the stream and like downwind with everything, you've been like fighting the current. That's why you're so exhausted. It's like putting effort into these things that when it's in flow, it doesn't take effort in this way. Which, like, that's not good or bad or anything like that. It's just talking about the energetic exchange that's happening here. If you want to do this and you're like signing yourself up to go through this boot camp over here, and you just want to do things the more difficult way, then you are. It's not like you're losing from doing that. You know, there's something to be gained in every experience, but you could also gain from an easier experience as well. But this is just currently what you're choosing. But I want to emphasize that this is a choice that's being made here, because I feel like the way that this is coming through, you don't always recognize it as a choice, however it is. I'm seeing just this like really deep desire to be happy, but again, you may be, you're like, I can see the potential of being happy, or like, we used to be really happy, or like, I saw it for a moment in my mind's eye, like it could really be like that. But 10 of Cups and the 5 of Cups, it's like, don't you remember when it used to feel like that, but it doesn't really feel like that anymore. This has to do with a relationship of yours. This is somebody that you're actually close with, or that you had been close with. Maybe you don't feel like super close with them anymore, or you like don't feel like that connection is the same any longer. Nonetheless, you've been like trying to make it be like that, but it doesn't seem like it is. And maybe you're also partly like scared to be alone as well. Can be the feeling too. Yeah, I definitely get this vibe. The way 10 of Cups and 5 of Cups, see, 10 of Cups be like so happy, and there's the light, and it's like you step all the way up here, and then it's just like light everywhere, and that feeling very joyful, and these people have their arms up, you know, like it's all just fun. And this card over here, it's like looking at that and being like, remember when I was happy? Like, remember when things, you know, just looking at that and being like, look at all these things that have happened over here. It's like that nostalgia of like, to go from a 10 to 5, things change. 5 is a major symbol of change. So it's like, I wish that things could have stayed like that, you know? And so you're over here in this other area where things have changed, because nothing is stagnant nor static. Everything is fleeting. But you're caught in a moment where you're like, well, I wish that it wasn't within this situation. Because you used to have intimacy, you used to have this closeness, and now it's not really there anymore. And I'm seeing you also be in your head like, oh, if I hadn't done that, if they hadn't done that, you know, all of you going back in your head about like all of these things, but like it's not going to do anything. Like none of these things can, it's not going to change any of that stuff any longer. So what can you do now? I'm seeing you definitely experience like a lot of emotions around this, and right now you moving through your process and sort of like making that your priority and responsibility is going to help you move through this and maybe make it a bit easier. But if you're not prioritizing like your emotional state and experience and transmuting the energy right now and being mindful of it and being one with it, it's going to make this harder. Because I'm seeing like you being in that cup energy right now for yourself and like showing up for yourself in that way. It's going to be, it's what's suggested here for you to move through this. You know, like when we go through the tarot reads, when the court cards come up, it's like a suggestion of if you step into this energy, it's going to be most effective or least effective for you to get in this, or it's going to make it easier for you or more difficult for you. I'm seeing it say like being the King of Cups right now, embracing that energy, embodying that energy is going to be most helpful. What is the King of Cups? The King of Cups is somebody that opens up their heart to everything that they're experiencing, does not judge themselves for experiencing all of that, and finds the calm center within. Like with the King of Cups, it's this person that they're like in the middle of the water, and no matter how big or crazy or chaotic the waves get, which is a symbol of our emotions and the energy, this person is like sitting pretty up here within this chair. Like the waves can get as crazy as they can, but I'm this calm center here. And so I can just observe and watch everything, and I know that it can't really penetrate me at my core, me at my center. So I can go through anything emotionally, I can experience anything emotionally, and I'm going to observe that, and I'm not going to be reactive to it. I'm going to be mindful and tend to it in that way. So that's what it's like. It's embodying the equanimity to move through. But for some of you, I see, for those of you that are seeing this like crazy mark on my arm, I got a puncture wound. I am fine. I don't read the comments, but I'm sure it's like shown in other videos. So anyway, if you guys see that, I'm absolutely fine. I'm a Sag rising, for those of you that don't know. I love an adventure. We can leave it there. But yeah, I'm totally fine. Anyway, coming back to this may be bringing up you like facing some fears that you have with the Nine of Swords on the bottom of the deck. So it can be something that you're like, I never thought that this would change, or like, I would do anything not to lose this, like, but nonetheless, a situation has now changed and it's not the same as it was, and maybe you feel like the good times are behind you within this situation, or that prime time of the connection is, you're beyond that now at this point, and there's really nothing that can be done about it either. But I'm seeing you still like trying to force it, like still trying to milk this situation, but it's not. It's not working. The input is not equaling the output is what I'm seeing. But I'm getting you still trying to fight it because you're like, maybe I can make it work. Maybe I can make it work. Maybe I can make it work. But you keep finding out that like you can't, because I just get very strongly that you may still be in a place where you're not like fully in acceptance of this. Which is okay, it's just where you are. Also, there's like, you don't need to judge yourself for not being in acceptance of this either. This is just about like putting it all out there and recognizing what's going on here within this situation. And yeah, it does hurt when we lose a connection. It can feel really, really challenging when things change, when we feel like we had really good times with somebody or felt like really seen by them, or like had the type of intimacy that we desire, and then things change with somebody. Like they go on and they're dating somebody else, or they have a new best friend, or like your work bestie goes and starts working somewhere else, you know, like whatever this is. Because I'm seeing a Two of Cups, so it can be like maybe you and your child aren't so close anymore as you used to be, or like you and your spouse, or maybe you're getting a divorce for some of you, or somebody's moving, you know. Two of Cups can be anything or anyone that you have a connection with. It can even be like your favorite TV show that's ending now. You keep trying to rewatch it over and over again, and it's just not the same as the first time that you watched it, you know? Like this can really be anything. You can apply this to anything. Like you used to get your favorite like salad or drink from somewhere, and then they like tweak the recipe, and now you can't find it anywhere. Like it's just not the same as it was before. And it's just as meaningful and significant no matter what this is applied to for you within your life, and can be applied many different times in many different situations. I get that this is like a repeated thing for you that's happened, of you get like the golden era of something, and then it's like no longer the golden era anymore, and then you have to say goodbye to that as well. But you're in a spot where you're like still trying to make it work. Like maybe we don't have to say goodbye yet, but I'm getting it's like already sort of like fading away and like slipping through your fingers. But you being at this point where you're like, the conclusion of this is that you may be in a spot where you're not realizing that this is going to, the energy never dies and disappears and dissipates in a way where you never experience it again. You just may not be at a spot where you're realizing you're going to experience this again, just in a different form. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It's just going to pop up in another way for you. But the longer that you hold on to this thing that's like withering in your fingers, the more you're like elongating the death process of this and allowing it to fully complete and like surrendering this, and the more you're prolonging that other form that's going to pop up for you. So right now you're actually holding on to this really unenjoyable part right now and making it, you're really dragging it out here and making it last. But if that's also what you want to do, then that's what you want to do too. But know also that you're choosing that. The longer that you're choosing to hold on to this and not let it go, you're just elongating this part that doesn't look very enjoyable of the process. Because know that it will pop up in another form. You're not going to lose this. You just lose the form of it. But we always do to everything. It's inevitable. It's just the cycle. But yeah, it doesn't fully go away or go anywhere. It can't be destroyed. It's just gonna pop up wearing a different face. Allowing yourself to like actually, okay, here we go. This is like the whole point of everything. I'm getting like double confirmation of this coming through. Allowing yourself to be in full acceptance of this and actually accepting like what's going on here is what needs to happen, is what's being suggested. Like if you are here being like, what's the advice from my guides? It's that you be in full acceptance of this, which means that you're actually recognizing what's going on here. You're actually admitting to what's going on here. And you're moving to a place where you eventually are accepting what's going on here. Because I'm seeing you still be like only looking at it through like half of a squinted eye here. Like, I don't know if that's really happening. Do I have to admit that it's happening here? Let's pretend that it's not. Let's keep trying to make it work. It's like that sort of thing. But when you get into a place where you're like, I can open myself up to have my full experience of what's happening here emotionally and energetically, and just observe this and see what's going on, rather than having all of these attachments to everything and then judging myself for how I'm feeling and then wanting to deny this because it's unpleasant and like doing all of that. That's again just elongated and prolonging this. You're going to sit into a space where there's just like, so this is happening. And letting it be so. And allowing the cycle to happen. Because I'm really getting you be like a time bender here with this. Being like, if I can just hold on to it. Like, it's like this thing that you caught. Like, I'm seeing the cycle go around and you like caught this piece of it and you're trying to like bend it in another direction and be like, I don't want the cycle to complete here. But I'm seeing like as soon as you let go of this, it is going to complete, and then things will resume for you. No major arcanas here. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everybody for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.